On the news tonight, President Bola Tinubu reappoints Mojisola Adeyeye as Director General of NAFDAC. Federal government sets up committee to combat food hoarding, considers state police to tackle insecurity. House of Representatives calls on federal government to subsidize Hajj fare for intending pilgrims. Oyo State government seals 6 hospitals for hiring unqualified personnel. On the foreign scene, former U.S. President Donald Trump's first criminal trial set to begin next month. Good evening, glad to have you join us on News Round on Impact Africa Television, IATV. I am Joy Ayibi. The federal government, in collaboration with state governors, have agreed to set up a committee to tackle the issue of hoarding of farm produce in the country. The Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, disclosed this after meeting President Bola Tinubu held with governors, heads of security agencies, and some ministers at the Presidential Villa, Abuja. Addressing State House correspondents, the Information Minister, who accused some traders of hoarding food products, said the security agencies have been mandated to liaise with governors to tackle the menace. It disclosed that the meeting also considered the increase in the number of forest rangers across the country to effectively protect the forest and allow farmers to go back to their farms. Among the issues also considered was the establishment of state police, even as the minister had said more meetings and discussions will still be held on the issue to find a common ground on the application process. It said there have been significant improvements in areas where farmers have not been able to cultivate as a result of security, stating that the issue of food importation has been rested for now. President Bola Tinubu has named Mansur Kabir as the new chairman of the board of the National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control, NAFDAC, and reappointed its chief executive officer, Mojisola Adeyeye. He also appointed the new Director General for the Nigerian Center for Disease Control, Olajide Idris, who is bid to assume office on February 19, 2024, replaces Ifedayo Adetifa. Tinubu's special advisor on media and publicity, Ajuri Ngelale, announced the appointment in a statement today. The president also approved the appointment and reappointment of board chairpersons and chief executive officers for 8 agencies under the Ministry of Health and Social Welfare. Ngelale also disclosed that the appointments are in furtherance of Tinubu's determination to bring world-class standards to Nigerian public health administration and to manifest its commitment to deliver affordable and quality care to all Nigerians on the governance and regulatory frameworks commensurate with international best practice. Owing to the high cost of historical underperformance in the health sector, the president, according to the statement, anticipates the immediate and effective implementation of new policy frameworks to reposition the sector. The federal government has launched an electronic verification management system for military retirees in response to complaints about the cumbersome physical verification process, particularly due to advanced age. The system will replace the Military Pensions Board traditional physical verification process for veterans to access their pensions, gratuities, and other benefits. Addressing journalists in Abuja during the unveiling of the system, the chairman, Military Pensions Board, Paul Irumese, said continuing with the physical verification exercise has become difficult due to such factors as the high cost of transportation and security risk, among others. He noted that over 11,000 retirees distributed across the 36 states and the Federal Capital Territory will participate in the testing phase starting on February 19. He, however, cautioned retirees against sharing their ATM details, stating that such information is unnecessary for the verification exercise. In a related development, the federal government has insisted that the minimum age for individuals to engage in apprenticeship in Nigeria is from 12 years and above. Consequently, the government kick-started the enforcement with sensitization programs in the 6 geopolitical zones of the country. The Minister of State for Labor and Employment, Nkeruka Oyediocha, at a rally to round off the sensitization in Abuja, warned that anyone engaging in apprentice who is below the age limit of 12 is indulging in child labor. This, the minister said, breaches the United Nations and International Labour Organization's ILO Convention and standards. The minister said the policy has been clearly spelt under labour law, noting that the rally will enhance job creation through skills acquisition. The minister said beyond the sensitization program, the ministry is devising ways to boost employment generation through issuing the trade test certification of competence to the deserving beneficiaries. We'll now go on a short break. News round returns shortly. Do stay with us. Welcome back. Glad to know your still with us. And now to the rest of the news. In a bid to tackle high food prices, the Minister of Water Resources and Sanitation, Joseph Utsev, has disclosed that 15,000 acres of irrigable land will be handed over to farmers. Utsev made the disclosure in a keynote address delivered at the official opening ceremony of the 38th regular meeting of the National Council on Water Resources and Sanitation. According to him, food security, ending poverty, economic growth and job creation, inclusivity and security are approved by President Bola Tinubu as presidential priority areas for the Federal Ministry of Water Resources and Sanitation. He also said the meeting would not have come at a better time than now, given the present administration comprehensive plan on food security, affordability and sustainability. Utsev said that irrigation and food security, irrigated agricultural practice, has been identified as a key to a vibrant Nigerian economy, accounting for a high percentage of GDP and a viable intervention option that will ensure national food security and poverty alleviation. The minister made it known that in order to transform and promote irrigation development towards sustainable food production and security for the greater socio-economic well-being of the nation, the ministry proposes to channel all efforts towards achieving the target of developing 500 hectares of land by 2030. The Ogun State Governor, Dapo Abiodun, has disclosed that the government will distribute food palliatives to 300,000 households in the state, which will include rice, cassava flakes, and other consumables. Abiodun disclosed this at a press briefing held at the governor's office, Okimoson, in Abeokuta, the state capital. The governor also announced the injection of 5 billion naira into the state economy in order to cushion the effect of the subsidy removal on the residents of the state.
Of all the good people of Ogun State, let me assure you that the present economic situation is just a transient phase that will soon pass. In this direction, and through our targeted interventions, we aim to address these challenges by implementing a series of phased-out initiatives aimed at reducing or cushioning these burdens on all our citizens. We have taken the following steps. In the education sector, we will be providing a one-time intervention in the first instance of 10,000 naira education support grant to a minimum of 100,000 indigent pupils in our public, primary, and secondary schools across the state. Number two, we will be providing all our indigent students in all tertiary institutions nationwide with an education grant of 50,000 naira each. To date, we have a total of about 27,600 indigent students across the country. We'll be providing a minimum of 5 exercise books each to all our students across all public, primary, and secondary schools in the state. To date, we have about 850,000 students across our public, primary, and secondary schools.
Some kingmakers and representatives of a ruling house in Igbajo, Osun State, including members of the Owai Council, have kicked against Governor Ademola Adeleke's election decision on first selection of new Owa of Igbajo after the sack of Oba Adegboyega Famodun. Governor Adeleke, through an executive order, removed Famodun and later issued the white paper ordering a sack and a fresh selection process for the stool. Addressing a press conference in Oshogbo, Secretary of Owa Okiode ruling house and Akeron of Igbajo land, Adewumi Babaloye, in the statement jointly signed, insisted that the tradition of installing an Owa of Igbajo cannot be reserved or performed 2 times in Oba's lifetime. They asked the governor to allow cases instituted against the stool to be decided by the court and that he should not politicize the stool of the town, saying Oba Famodu, who was initially installed, remains the popular choice of the indigents. They appealed to the governor not to abuse the stool through personal political interest or vendetta and not to undermine the custom and tradition of the ancient community.
We won't encourage any action or inaction capable of rocking the existing peace in our ancestral town of Igbajo by some princes who show their intention to fill for the ownership stool of our town by duly collecting form and presented themselves for interview and are now making a needless issue out of it because they lost. There can only be an Oba in our town at a time, and we have duly cleared Oba Philip Adegboyega Famodun as the Owa of Igbajo, having concluded all necessary rites. There have been peace, tranquility, and development in our town, Igbajo, since the enthronement of Oba Philip Adegboyega Famodun as the Owa of Igbajo.
For Igbajo in particular, due process was not followed, that all the process were tailored at making somebody to occupy the stool of Owa of Igbajo without following due process to the exclusion of others. So when the committee was set up, those people submitted a memoranda before the committee And it was the resolution of the committee that the government has actually published in the white paper and the Gazette. So there's nothing amiss. I can only hold those that are being sponsored to be claiming, to be speaking for the people of Igbajo.
And finally, on the foreign scene, the selection of jurors in Donald Trump's first criminal trial will begin next month. Justice Joan Machen, who is presiding over Trump's New York hush money case, made the announcement after dismissing his motion to have the case dismissed. This case relates to allegation of hush money paid to adult film actress Stormy Daniels in 2016. The former president is accused of falsifying his business records by saying the payments was for legal fees. He's facing 34 counts of fraud under campaign finance laws and has pleaded not guilty to all of them. To end the news, another look at the major items. President Bola Tinubu reappoints Mojisola Adeyeye as Director General of NAFDAC. Federal government sets up committee to combat food hoarding, considers state police to tackle insecurity. House of Representatives calls on federal government to subsidize Hajj fare for intending pilgrims. Oyo State government seals 6 hospitals for hiring unqualified personnel. On the foreign scene, former U.S. President Donald Trump's first criminal trial set to begin next month. And that ends News Round on Impact Africa Television, IETV. Many thanks for watching. I am Joy Aibi. Good night.